Professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perulian on your official weather station, WWL.
A mild start to our morning across southeast Louisiana. Today we'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds with weekend highs climbing into the lower 80s and remaining dry. As we go through your Sunday night into your Monday morning, the winds will begin to pick up due to a weak frontal boundary, and a few spotty showers are possible across the area beginning to our Monday. The daytime highs climbing into the upper 80s under mostly sunny conditions across the area.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. This Uber driver causing heartache and confusion for his wife. WWL TV's Sam Winstrom reports.
Melissa Stiller should have been celebrating her wedding anniversary this week, and instead, she's planning a funeral for her husband after he was killed while driving in New Orleans East. A social worker, musician, and comedian. Andrew Stiller was moonlighting as an Uber driver Monday when someone opened fire on his car.
And I asked him, I said, please be careful out there. At that point, I didn't know it was the last time that I ever talked to him again.
Stiller and his passenger, 21-year-old John L. Hampton, were killed. Stiller's SUV crashed through a fence and onto Interstate 10, where it crashed into another car. Police say a woman on I-10 was also wounded in the shooting, and 2 more people were injured in that crash. So far, police have not made any arrests in this case. If you have information that can help police, call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111.
Drivers, take note, southbound I-55 will be closed today. WWL TV's Whitney Miller fills us in.
Interstate 55 South will be closed at the Manchac exit. It's so crews can pull an 18-wheeler out of the water. It went over the bridge rail yesterday afternoon. The driver backed up is okay. The closure will start at the Manchac exit, and you can use the low road and get back on the interstate as you go. State police say the closure is expected to last about 8 hours.
Here's Charlie Long with WWL Sports.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by PeopleSell. LSU baseball picked up their first loss of the season in Brown Rock, dropping their matchup with Iowa 12-4. Look no further than what happened in the first inning. The 2-2 pitch. Lifted out into the air. Right field going back. Gilbert still going back. He'll look up and it's gone. In review, LSU starting pitcher Riley Hooper got the first 2 outs of the opening frame before giving up 3 runs on 3 hits. The first 3 football goal batters replaced the bottom half of the inning. However, 3 strikeouts stranded the bases loaded. Iowa went on to extend their lead, and they never trailed in the contest. The Hawkeyes had 16 hits, and LSU had only 4. So now what's next? The Tigers have a chance to finish their road trip to Round Rock on a high note when they play the weekend finale versus Sam Houston State at 4 p.m. this afternoon. As always, you can listen to live coverage of that game right here on the home of LSU Sports, WWL. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
It's a quiet start to our day, mild and muggy, as things will continue to warm as we go through the afternoon onwards. We'll see our daytime highs reach the low 80s under mostly sunny conditions. It looks quiet. The winds will pick up gradually due to an incoming. The front looks pretty weak as it passes through on Monday. Winds will stick around as we go through the entire day on Monday, highs reaching the upper 80s and a 20% coverage for showers. As we go through your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it looks pretty quiet for the most part and very normal for temperatures remaining in the lower to mid-80s. From the local weather forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perulian, WWL First News. From WWL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans. Here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. Give us a call at 260-1870 or text us at the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line at 260-1870. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, how are you, man?
Oh, doing fantastic. We were off last week for Mardi Gras, so we're back. Did you stay in town for Mardi Gras? Were you in town?
Yeah, last year we went out of town for the first time, maybe ever. We wanted to always have our kids understand and appreciate what Mardi Gras is and the fun and the levity. And now they both love it. They both, my son was back in town for traveling and couldn't wait to spend time and parades with his friends. And my daughter, she came with us to a couple of parades. My brother came in town from Tennessee. It was a great weekend this year. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Some stupidity and gunplay on the parade route a couple of times, but once again, we just need some leadership in the
part of the backdrop of New Orleans right now for the time being. One thing a couple of things I was sort of keeping. I was out of town, and I guess starting with tough day for the LSU Pelicans yesterday. LSU baseball #1 lost to Iowa. Sort of a difficult game, error-filled game. And in baseball, even though you're #1, you're going to lose games. You're not going to go 60-0, so it's okay. LSU basketball lost. Pelicans, what's going on with them, man? They're fading, huh?
As the game started, I watched it last night. The Knicks got very physical with the Pelicans, and the refs let it go. The Pelicans players are not the kind of guys that fall down like soccer players and fake injuries and fake, fouls, etc. And whereas the Knicks, every time they drove in the lane, somebody would fall down and get the foul call. But every time Brandon Ingram touched the ball, he was elbowed and forearmed, and even before he got the ball, they were banging pretty hard. And when you're built like a string bean, it kind of throws you off your game. He's a great player. I got to tell you, since he's been back, he's been scoring 30 points a game, but the rest of the team is kind of standing around waiting for him to do something.
Right.
And they're not playing as a team. They're not sharing the ball. Granted, you need an alpha dog, but you need to have some kind of offense, and it's just not working.
Yeah. Yeah, they had. I think one of the things is the Trey Murphy, Herb Jones seem to be in I don't want to say a sophomore slump, but their rate of improvement in the second year is not. Maybe it's just expectations. Maybe they had good rookie years and we had higher expectations, and they're just developing normally. And but they just, you're right, they do not seem to be playing like they were last year, where they were at this time where they were starting their run, playing together, playing with a lot of energy. It's just it's a fickle thing. Team chemistry in pro sports is fickle, and they sort of had it last year. They just had a little talent deficit, I guess. This year, they just don't seem to have it. They were
car. He'll show you what you need to do, and then you'll be on your way. So maybe there'll be a vehicle to test drive. Hey, this is this type of, but you know what? Let's take a break, Doug, and then we'll come back. I want to talk about something. It's a very interesting issue that is out there. It's not so much a legal matter, but from that whole electric car aspect.
Yeah, I think that it is very interesting because, anytime you take these turns as far as government policy and, there's a lot of unanticipated consequences, and I'm anticipating that you're going to discuss the unanticipated consequences of having electric cars, and that would make, if we went all electric, you might be pining for the days of gas-powered cars again. So, all right, well, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL, home of your New Orleans Saints. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The 2022 Saints season is over. The intrigue is just getting started.
Subscribe to our podcast, Inside Black and Gold, and track every move in the offseason and what's needed to get back to the playoffs next year.
We'll dive deep in all last season's stats and stories, start setting expectations for training camp, free agency, the 2023 draft, and a lot more.
So we do have a caller lined up if you guys want to come back to him. I don't think he's pressed for time if you guys can come back, continue the car conversation, and him. His name is Ricky. The topic is contractor's letter of completion.
America's #1 sportsbook.
Oh,
New customers get
okay.
a sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back.
We'll go to that. We'll go to that, and we'll talk about that later.
Sportsbook cap. You can bet on everything with the money line to
And again, his name is Ricky.
trade. For instance, 2 times 3, 2 3-pointers scored in the first 3 minutes. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/ABear. That's FanDuel.com/ABear. That's HEBERT to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
If you're injured in a car crash, never settle for less than you deserve from the insurance company. And don't settle for just any law firm. Demand Dudley DeBosier. It's always our goal to give you the maximum compensation you deserve. And with our no-fee guarantee, you pay us nothing. No fees, no costs, or expenses unless we get you money. Call now and we'll review your case for free. That's the Dudley DeBosier difference. Call 504-444-4444. That's 504-444-4444. Chad Dudley, New Orleans. LA 22-13579.
Is your Hurricane Ida insurance claim with your public adjuster stuck in neutral or going nowhere? Unfortunately, public adjusters do not have any enforcement powers to hold your insurance company accountable in a court of law. Many insurance companies will not deal with your Hurricane Ida.
If it happens again, we can just go back to the phone. If
Yeah.
we do happen to go to the phone for like another power outage, when the way the board is set up, I put both of you on the same mix minus.
Gotcha.
When one of you is turned on, both of you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Join the New Orleans Pelicans and Saints for STEM.
That also means when I talk to you directly, you're both going to hear me.
Yeah, okay.
Interact with over 100 fun and educational activities centered around science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM Fest takes.
But it's okay. I got some good bumper music that will cheer you up.
Yeah.
Tickets are $15 in advance, $20 at the door, and includes free parking and a Pelicans ticket courtesy of Chevron. Visit pelicans.com/STEMFest for more information and tickets.
The famous French song La Vie en Rose begins like this. Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic spell you cast. This is La Vie en Rose. But if you can't write poetry, how do you say je t'aime? I love you. With the gift of jewelry from Oakland Heart, of course. Once again voted the city's best jeweler by the readers of Gambit magazine. For holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, and weddings, we are proud to be a part of your special moments. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call the Dell Technologies back in 877 Ask Dell.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed, and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
All right, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. You know who that is, huh? George Benson. I think 1974. You know, they used to play in between, before the game, and for New Orleans Jazz, they used to play George Benson music, if you remember that. So, think of Pistol. Yes. Let's go to the phone lines. We're going to talk about electric cars, but let's go to phone lines first. Let's go to Ricky. He's got a question regarding contractors' letters of completion. And you're on with the guru with Albert, because that's his deal there. So, what you got for us, Ricky?
Okay, yeah, so what happens is when you have a mortgage on your property, you have a hurricane claim or any other type of casualty loss, the insurance company will typically place the mortgage company on the check because what they don't want you doing is going to buy a Cadillac and not fixing the house, and then, you end up with a big deficit in the risk that the mortgage company has to take with their mortgage, right? So now all of a sudden, if it's substantially damaged, it might not be worth the value of its mortgage. So they want to make sure that you put that money that comes from the insurance company back into the property, and make sure that the property remains more valuable than their mortgage. So they'll sometimes pay you in a lump sum if you get the work done. They'll pay you at the end. Sometimes they'll do what's called a draw inspection. So if it's a decent amount of work, they'll say, oh, look, when you finish the gutting and the framing, we'll send you X amount, and we'll send somebody out to take a look and make sure it's done. These days, they'll let you do that in photos more often than not. And then as you progress, hey, if the job was permitted, okay, if the contractor got a permit to do the work, then you will be able to go to the parish. They got it for final inspection, and parish would have issued a certificate of completion or a certificate of occupancy, and then let if that's something that would be sufficient to send to your mortgage company. If it was not permitted, then you need to get a hold of your contractor and tell them, hey, look, buddy, you need to get a certificate of completion, and a lien waiver saying that, hey, look, I've been paid full and all the work was done. And then you can submit that to the mortgage company along with some photographs and everything else, and then let it be paid.
Okay, well, thank you for the information. I'll see what we can do about. I would like to think that it's permitted. He said that the job was permitted, so we'll go through the parish inspection office to see if that's true.
Maybe look on if there's an email, you've been emailing the mortgage company, if there's some form
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate the help.
Yeah, Albert. A lot of homeowners are having some difficulty in dealing with mortgage companies, especially if they're doing the repairs themselves. Do you have any, or they're self-contracting the repairs themselves? Do you have any advice for homeowners who, may be doing some of the repairs themselves, and the mortgage company is saying we need a contractor's estimate, we need a contractor's contract, we need to have certificates of completion? What would be your advice?
What you might be able to do, is after the fact, is maybe get a hold of a licensed contractor and see, hey, look, can you come inspect the work that was done and just sign off on it? I'll pay you a couple $100 or whatever it is, to come spend an hour here looking around, taking some photos, and just saying, yeah, the work has been completed. And then they'll have a contractor's name, license number, and something to look towards. And, those people just need to document their files before they spend a bunch of money, and they don't want to get in trouble with their superiors. And so, if you send them something within their guidelines that shows that the work's been completed, and there was a contractor, I doubt that they're going to necessarily look up the contractor. I think that they can just put something in their file they can issue. But getting back to the
electric cars.
So I was listening to this, probably a 2 or 3 hour segment on it's an electromagnetic pulse. And so this is it's nothing new. It's been around for a while, but the word is that a lot of these smaller communist, dictatorship type countries, Iran, North Korea, et cetera, are out there developing and testing these, basically their bombs. And they float along much like the Chinese weather balloon that, supposedly is a weather balloon. And, they're typically undetected by radar. And basically what they can do is send an electromagnetic pulse. They send essentially gamma rays to the surface. And all of the electrical lines servicing our homes and businesses and everything else carry those gamma rays back to the electric grid and blow it out. And so now, and it blows out, for months until they can be repaired and whatever else. And what that would do, in the event these things occur, it would put a halt to any vehicular traffic with respect to anything that's electronic, because you wouldn't be able to charge it. And so, our country is kind of forcing us, our leaders are forcing us to go in this electric vehicle direction. And, they just passed this $1 trillion infrastructure bill, and nothing in the bill addresses EFT. And so there are kind of like the ground fault interrupter situation that do exist that you can put on your infrastructure in your grid, and they would trip and everybody's power would go out, but then you would have to reset that. And so it's just another thing that our country needs to pay more attention to, because it's a very real threat. Pay more attention to it. It's a very real threat. And no radiation for cancer patients, no hospital, all of these things, and you'll be out of luck. So, and again, there's strong evidence that, some of these smaller countries especially are testing these, and, you devastate everybody's communication system, and, it's hand-to-hand combat for the most part at that point. And so I think our country needs to direct some of this money towards preparing for that, and I guess that might be more of a defense bill, but
Well, I think when it comes to electric cars, I mean, there's a lot of unanticipated consequences with those that we don't know because we don't use them all the time. But one of the things I have concerns about is with gas-powered cars, we have that mineral below our feet right now, literally below our feet right now, in oil. However, a lot of the properties to make the batteries are not in the United States and in control of places like Ukraine and China. And so, that's another factor that would, is probably, it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of consideration. And, you get a lot of emotional play about, you feel virtuous by electric cars because, you quote, you're not, damaging the environment, which is, I have a whole, I have 100% opinion about there's a difference between pollution and climate change, and they're not related. But, those type of issues aren't, maybe you may be experiencing them in the future when it's too late and there's not a lot of foresight being looking into it. And maybe there are some people who don't want us to be independent and interdependent on other countries and want to cede some of our sovereignty to the world. But there's a lot more to it. And the fact is that we really don't have a debate about it. We're just being told this is what we're going to do. Anytime in a free society, when you have an issue where you're going to have such a transformational change, and debate is not encouraged, always concerns me. And we've had that in the last 3 years, and with the COVID epidemic, and when you're not allowed to debate what's going on, you're not allowed to debate both sides of an issue, and you're censored for it, or you get sanctioned for it, or you get shut down for it. That's always an area of concern, and I think.
The other half of the problem is with these electric cars is the components for the battery have to be mined. And
Right.
There was
that
these leaders, I don't know what position it was, from Africa. He was an African male, and he came on one of these news stories, and they were showing videos of his country. And in the hills, they've got these people of all ages, with many children, digging with their hands and dust all over their face, no mask, no anything, probably working for pennies a day, digging up, I want to say it was cobalt or whatever it was, that need to go into these batteries. So now you have these almost slave child labor digging up batteries so some of these Americans can feel good about themselves driving an electric car. And then when the batteries go out, what do you do with all that? Where do you put that waste? Where do you where do you go with it?
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of the environmental damage that when you're virtue signaling, thinking you're doing something good, is actually going to be worse in some areas than the gas powered cars. But I guess that debate's not allowed to be had at this point. And being in Louisiana, we should be screaming and hollering about that because we got a bunch of oil under our feet. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of the LSU Fighting Tigers. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
On your Monday edition of WWL First News, another insurance company bites the dust. We'll talk about it with Louisiana Insurance Commissioner Jim Donnellan. Plus, Pelican Institute thinks Governor Edwards' budget is irresponsible. We'll find out why. Join me, Tommy Tucker, for that and a whole lot more live, local, and original. 6 till 10 a.m. right here on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. If you worked at a blue-collar job back in the day or lived with somebody that did, you need to have yourself checked for asbestos exposure because that stuff was everywhere. Even if you've been diagnosed with lung cancer and you were a smoker, you need to be checked because asbestos could be what what got you sick. Hey, it's Tommy Tucker, and I'm talking about things like a shipyard, refinery, HVAC, plumbing, or pipe fitting factories, or auto repair. That's what I work in. You ought to have yourself checked. I had a lot of exposure to asbestos-filled brake dust. I went to asbestosclaims.law. I got checked and tested. I'm okay for now, but I need to be tested every year because sometimes the effects of asbestos exposure don't show up for decades. Now, if asbestos did get you sick, money's been set aside. It's not going to affect the place you work for or anybody who works there's job, but it will take a step toward compensating you for being exposed to asbestos. A lot of firms do it. I went with Justinian Lane with asbestosclaims.law because he lost family members to asbestos exposure. Call 8334-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
According to the French poet Madeleine de Scudéry, the indifferent have only one soul, but when you love, you have two. Of course, when you love, there's only one place to go for wedding jewelry, and that's Open Heart. But don't take Madeleine de Scudéry's word for it. Listen to what Joseph said in his online review. These people care about their profession and take care of their customers. Their jewelry speaks for itself. Amazing experience all the way around. Oakland Heart is constantly searching the world diamond markets for the most beautiful natural diamonds you'll ever see. Every diamond we sell has been personally selected by a member of the Oakland family. And then we put our master craftsmen to work, creating one-of-a-kind rings you'll treasure toujours. It's true. Say it like, there's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Mary Road.
Did you miss Medicare's annual enrollment deadline? You still could have a chance to enroll in a 5-star People's Health Plan with benefits starting on the first day of next month. For the second year in a row, People's Health earns a 5-star rating for Medicare. This tells you that People's Health is consistently considered a high-quality plan, one that keeps their members satisfied and helps them live healthier lives. Call 1-855-821-2666. That's 1-855-821-2666. Or visit peopleshealth.com.
Golfers, teed up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway, featuring the Paradigm Woods and Irons. The Paradigm Woods are engineered with forged carbon to have unparalleled distance and forgiveness. The irons feature a high-strength forged face for increased launch, speed, and spin. A new paradigm in performance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Did you know that romance can be eco-friendly? Simply give your sweetheart an experience rather than a gift. You can plan a night on the town that includes dinner at a local restaurant, ballroom dancing, or tickets to the theater. You could also plan a couple's massage or even a hot air balloon ride. You can create a great memory without creating any physical waste. When we each share one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Southern Coins and Precious Metals wants your gold and silver. See today's prices at southerncoins.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago,
Back in 45.
for a timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Now that you know who that is. That's the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. I just wasn't made for these times. I don't know if you remember that one. When we're talking about electric cars and all the other things today, sometimes I feel that way. wanted to talk a little bit about another insurance company went belly up in receivership, UPC. And I know UPC's wrote a lot of policies in South Louisiana. In fact, my policy was for UPC. I guess I can talk about it now since they're in receivership. I can't get in trouble. But basically, we had 6 figures of damages at our house for Hurricane Ida. The independent adjuster came out. We went through the house. Seemed like he was going to write a substantial estimate. Told me he would. We went through all the damage, and then what happened was received, I think, $4,000 after the estimate, and then I actually had the independent adjuster in another case, and I talked to him. I said, "Man," I said, "what happened?" He said, "Well, no, I wrote you up. They just wrote you down. They wrote you down, cut you back about $60,000 or $70,000 on your estimate before they paid you." And so I knew I had a bad faith claim, and we I was the chef. I was cooking my own food. I knew we had a bad faith claim, but we were faced with the situation where we knew that UPC was in trouble. And so when we were negotiating the final settlement, I actually took about a 10% discount and got the money in back maybe about 8 months ago, because I didn't want to be dealing with LIGA. I didn't want to start the whole process over. Obviously forewent my bad faith claim and just grabbed the money. And several other clients who were in a similar position end up doing the same thing because they knew that UPC was in quicksand. So yeah.
At a mediation, we had filed suit, and of course, with the order in place, we had to go to a mediation. So we go to a mediation with UPC attorney and adjuster. That was Thursday, a week ago, and we're negotiating back and forth. We're getting real close. They want to and look, and their whole argument is, and we got to get right on bad faith. Their whole argument is, you ought to take the money because what the rumor is we're fixing to go belly up. And so it didn't matter whether we took it or not, because at the end of the day, they would have never gotten the checks to us in time because they went belly up, I think like 2 or 3 days later. Because I sent the email I sent the attorney an email saying, hey, we'll take a little bit less, come up a little bit. She said, we've been instructed not to work on any more UPC files if they go into receivership. And so she sent me some article from Florida where it seemed to be the case. So now my client, unfortunately, just, we try to work it as much as we could. We file suit, we get into the, I need a 30-day extension, with this, with that, and you get down the street, and UPC. And I think they had enough in reserves to handle the Louisiana claims.
So Florida put them over.
Florida, they get all of a sudden he hit, and now, that pushed them over the edge. So it is what it is, and now we have to wait and wait for the thousands of files to be reassigned to LIGA adjusters, the Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, and then they have to review it, go through the file and go through all the paperwork and everything that the previous adjuster already did. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's the state of insurance in Louisiana. And, when you get hit with 7 or 8 hurricanes over a period of 2 or 3 years, it's not a good risk for private companies, which is really why the federal government needs to step up. You want to give $120 billion to Ukraine, who's a communist dictatorship country, and ignore the states within your country, keep your borders open. It's nuts. It's nuts what our government's doing these days. So
That's right. Well,
that's where we are.
That's right. Wasn't made for these times. America last. But if I think with you, in speaking to a lot of clients, because we were facing that with UPC for the last 7 or 8 months. Would UPC, make it or not? And we had to, as far as attorneys, what we do is give information. We said, here's the risk reward. We had a lot of people who were very upset about UPC servicing of their policies, and they were definitely in bad faith in connection with the claims. And a lot of people wanted to pursue those bad faith claims. And we sort of gave them the facts saying, hey, this is the information we have. You may not have a bad faith claim because once you go into receivership, LIGA doesn't have bad faith. There's no bad faith recovery against the receiver. So most of the people who were in that situation decided to cut and run and say, okay, well, maybe they got their recoverable depreciation back as a concession from the insurance company, but forewent the bad faith, knowing that we'd like to have my money now, get started on the repairs, and we're pretty sure that UPC is not going to be around for a bad faith claim, so that we can have recovery of our costs and the other penalties that they would be entitled to under normal circumstances. So for you people who cut and run on UPC, you made the right decision, because now they're not around anymore. You'll be dealing with Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, and they probably will not be getting to those claims for another 6 months. So sort of where you are right now.
Which creates a problem for us as lawyers, because we've got to file suit on your behalf by August 29th.
Or it goes away. Yeah.
At this point, if you have a UPC claim, you need to get a hold of somebody to go ahead and just file the lawsuit and file it against LIGA. LIGA might say, hey, look, it's premature, but at least it's going to preserve your claim and preserve your right to bring that claim against LIGA down the road.
Yeah, and please do not use an out-of-state law firm. You've been reading about them in the papers, and it's just not.
One got sanctioned, huh?
Yes, one in Texas, absolutely. Yeah. McClellan Mosley. So stay local. They know the judges the best. They know the court system the best. Just stay local. All right, let's go to a break. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, all of your Saints and LSU, always live on the free Odyssey app. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 504-444.
We can come back and talk a little bit longer, and then ask people to call in before the end of the show.
Okay.
So I'll get back up with Mark at the end.
Gotcha.
When we do come back from the news break, are we gonna circle back to sports and then go back?
Yeah. I'm gonna probably talk a little bit about Derek Carr.
Expertise, incredible things, because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call the Dell Technologies Advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guarantee, and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Even a wager that misses can be a slam dunk with BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA. Place an NBA one-game parlay wager.
We'll have a little less than 3.
Okay.
You'll receive up to $25 back in bonus bets. Just opt into this promotion on BetMGM's app or website. With one-game parlay, you can make selections within a single NBA game from tons of bet types, including team and player props. So go ahead and take your favorite NBA star to score big, the home team to cover, the over in points. Opt into this promotion then place an NBA one-game parlay wager of 4 legs or more, and you'll get up to $25 back in bonus bets if you miss on one leg. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire in 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Sam's Town Resort Casino.
Home is where the heart is. A roof is its shield. That's why for nearly 30 years, homeowners have trusted Garcia Roofing. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now. Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app? Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas. What? That sounds like it could really add up. I've made around $200 already. Wow, that's serious extra money.
Again, we're going to come back with this meeting.
Okay. Gotcha.
Every time you buy gas, use promo code CAR57.
All right.
Back in your first fill up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR57 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR57 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill up. Cashback's eligible in gas in Jersey, Wisconsin.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's coming to your screens every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? No Mercy. Yours truly, Stephen A. Smith. Now available on YouTube. For the first time in my career, I've got complete freedom to say my piece on everything beyond the world of sports. Unfiltered.
Back in 15.
Join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the very least for my take on the biggest headlines and conversations with the biggest names in entertainment. Subscribe now so you don't miss an episode. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. A presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio. Full episodes available now on YouTube.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Who is that, Albert? I'm stumped on that one. Colin, who was that, man? Sister Sledge. Oh, I should have known that. Oh, my goodness. We got a couple of minutes. Yeah, you remember Sister Sledge, late 70s? You were quarterback. You were quarterbacking for St. Paul right now then. So that little context for you. Real quick, we got a couple of minutes. The law firm of McClenny Mosley has been shut down by the Department of Insurance for representing claims involving Apex Roofing. And it was a very interesting, it's horrible when a tragedy happens and then you get exploited again by the people trying to address who's supposed to be helping you. But they had Apex Roofing, who was soliciting roofing work in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, and they had an assignment of benefits clause in their contract saying that we'll get the if you can't get the money from the insurance company, we will. But what happened was in these cases they were employing McClenny Mosley, which is a Texas-based firm, to represent these homeowners for their entire claim, not just the roofing claim. And then they started filing suit on behalf of the homeowners without the knowledge of the homeowners and started settling claims. Magistrate Patrick North in the Eastern District got a hold of that, sort of addressed it, and Jim Donnellan put a stop to it also. So if you're in a situation with Apex Roofing, you may want to get legal assistance to figure out how to untangle yourself from that particular situation. So, but there's a lot of articles in the paper. All right, we're going to national news, local news back in 10 minutes.
Sponsored by Gerald Steele. I'm Wendy Gillette in New York. A major winter storm is now moving east after bringing snow, rain, and floods to California.
The Weather Channel meteorologist, Molly McCullum. What starts in the west doesn't stay in the west. This dynamic system will move into the plains, bringing the threat for tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds Sunday evening. Michigan is still dealing with power outages after last week's storm. Matt Paul works for DTE Energy.
From a number of customers impacted standpoint, this is already the second largest storm in our company's 120-year history.
3 weeks after a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, the transportation of toxic wastewater to Harris County, Texas, for disposal has been paused. Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee.
I thought it was wrong to bring toxic waste to a community 1,300 miles away with no notice to our local officials.
The transportation of the wastewater to Michigan has also been paused. 2 Milwaukee police officers could spend more than 3 years in prison after 20-year-old Keyshawn Thomas died last year in jail from a drug overdose. Community activist Vaughn Mays.
We are all extremely frustrated because this was not the answer we were given initially.
The U.S. is giving $2 billion in additional military aid to Ukraine. That's not sitting well with demonstrators in Berlin.
All the weapons from the West doesn't make a difference. It's putting gas in the fire. When you support the war with weapons, you are on the wrong side.
Friday marked 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. 43 migrants are dead after the boat they were in crashed into reefs off the coast of southern Italy. The BBC's Danny Aberhart.
It's not yet been confirmed what happened to the boat, but one local news agency has reported that it was overcrowded and broke in two in heavy seas. Another Italian news agency says the boat could have been carrying more than 100 migrants. It reports that people from Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan were aboard.
Some advice for parents when their kids have fevers.
When a child has a fever, some parents give medication to make the child feel better when their temperature is below 100.4. A mock hospital poll calls that unnecessary.
1/3 of parents would give fever-reducing medication for elevated temperatures below 100.4 degrees, the point at which a fever stops.
The biggest concern for Dr. Susan Wolford with University of Michigan Health.
Giving children too much medication.
Cold remedies already contain fever-reducing medicines.
Stephen Huffman reporting. This is CBS News.
Business owners, General Steel can help save you thousands by owning your own custom-designed building. Call 888-98-STEEL or visit GeneralSteel.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owe a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the cars would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Peruvian on your official weather station, WWL.
We're starting off rather quiet, mild. We'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds. Today will be another muggy and warm day with temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. As we head into tonight, the winds will pick up due to an incoming front. And as we head into your Monday, a few spotty showers are possible across the area. And it will remain breezy as we go through this day under mostly sunny conditions. The daytime highs climbing into the upper 80s.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist. Drivers take note. There is a closure on I-55 today. We get the story from WWL TV's Mike McDaniel.
Portion of Interstate 55 south is closed to traffic. Now that closure is at the Manchac exit. Crews are working to pull an 18-wheeler out of the water. They went off the bridge Friday afternoon. Now the driver of the truck, he's okay. Closure is happening for the next 8 hours. Drivers can use the low roads and get back on I-55 as well.
Republican Congressman Garrett Graves still undecided if he's going to run for Louisiana governor. WWL TV's Whitney Miller reports.
Congressman Garrett Graves says he's receiving support to enter his name in the race. Four prominent Republicans are already campaigning for governor. The most well-known name so far is Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry. He's already raised more than $5 million for his campaign. Congressman Graves says he just wants to do what he can to help the state.
I have had many folks across the state that have been pushing us to run. We've been meeting with a number of people over the last several days, just trying to think through the right decisions.
Graves did not give an exact time on when or if he will announce a run for office.
WWL Sports.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. #1 LSU baseball is no longer undefeated despite the best efforts of star center fielder Dylan Cruz.
They got the bases loaded here in the fourth, down by 7. The pitch. Ground ball, base hit through the left side. A run scores. A second run's going to come around, and Dylan Cruz comes through for the Tigers. A 2-run single, and LSU is on the board.
Cruz was a bright spot in an otherwise rough afternoon. He went 2 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 RBIs. However, it wasn't enough. The Tigers got behind the Iowa Hawkeyes 7-0 by the 4th inning, and they weren't able to catch up, losing 12-4. LSU earned 13 free bases in the game with walks and batters hit by pitch, but they only managed 4 hits offensively. The Purple and Gold dropped to 5-1 on the season, and they'll finish their time in Round Rock with a battle versus Sam Houston State at 4 p.m. this afternoon. You can listen to live coverage of that game here on the home of LSU Sports, WWL. And on the hardwood, LSU basketball lost 82-69 to Ole Miss. They'll play their final home game of the regular season on Wednesday when they host Missouri at the PMAC. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Starting off mild and muggy, daytime highs reaching the lower 80s. Today, a mix of sunshine and clouds. And then tonight, the winds begin to pick up gradually due to incoming fronts. Now, that cold front will be rather weak as it passes through on Monday at 20% coverage for showers. It will remain breezy all day under mostly sunny conditions. The front not strong enough to pull in the cooler air, so temperatures will climb into the upper 80s Monday afternoon. On Tuesday, though, we will see a break in the humidity. Daytime highs reaching the lower 80s under mostly sunny skies. Winds picking back up Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures will be way above average, climbing into the middle 80s on both of those days. And models are hinting for the local weather. For Forecast Center, I'm TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News. From WWL, the News Talk Sports Powerhouse of the Gulf
South is all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 5.
So 1-870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2, Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870. We're in year 16, believe it or not. 16 years on the air, WWL. Albert, we were talking a little sports at the beginning of the hour, and I had a power outage in God's country in Mandeville. But one thing I want, I know, but yes, I know. Yes, they decided to hit us right at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, strategically. I want to talk about one thing about the Saints. Derek Carr. I read that he's looking for $35 million a year. I don't know if the Saints are going to pursue him or not, but that would seem to be fool's gold to me. Even in an inflated market for, you have to overpay a quarterback to on free agency, or you have to pay a premium, but $35 million. I would like to see, my thought would be, would you rather have Derek Carr at $35 million as a bridge quarterback, or would you rather have Baker Mayfield at $7 or $8 million? And to me, it'd be like a stock.
Mayfield, I think he's got a lot of upside. Listen, he reminds me a lot of Brett Favre. He's of touchdown passes, but he's going to throw some interceptions too. He's going to take a lot of chances with the ball. He's maybe a little overconfident in his ability. But all that said, he's a guy that really wants to win. He's a guy that's going to lay it on the line and take a hit on 4th and 1 to make the first down. He's kind of got that little cockiness about him, and you want that in your quarterback. You want a guy that give me the ball so I can go win it at the end kind of attitude. And I think if he can just kind of cut down a little bit on his mistakes and and just throw the ball away and not try to make a miracle pass, miracle catch. I think he'd be great. I think he'd a lot of games for us, and once he gets that confidence and reins that skill in, I'd much rather him and then you keep Dalton as a backup and send Jameis on his way because you'll have Taysom in the event. I like it. That's a possibility.
I mean, I think Derek Carr at $30 million, anything over $15, $18 million for Derek Carr is fool's gold. He's hit his ceiling. He will be maybe in a third tier quarterback between maybe a Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill type of quarterback who's serviceable. I don't think he's a quarterback that would take you past the first round in the playoffs if you're lucky enough to get there. But I think there's a higher ceiling with Baker Mayfield. I think I think you would get him at a price where you'd be able to utilize the other 30 or 50, $25 million that it would take to get Derek Carr and other areas that would help the team. Yeah.
Make it incentive rate, hey, look, this is, you bring it here, and here, and you get more money.
Yeah. I think it would be a good situation, but I sort of get nervous because I think if you're desperate for a quarterback like the Saints are, is a temptation to overpay. We saw it ahead. Sort of reminds me of the Wade Wilson, Jim Everett time period where after Bobby had left for Atlanta, we got Wade Wilson. He was sort of in the same place as Derek Carr in his career. That didn't work out. Then when we had, then after that, we got Jim Everett at the same place as Derek Carr. And I think that would be a comparable comparison. That didn't really work out. And so, ask Jim Rome about Chris Everett. He has an overturned table to talk about it. Heck yeah. So, I just thought of interesting thought on my part as far as, part of the salary cap, which is like owning a stock portfolio. If you have $100,000, you want to buy value stocks. You don't want to buy an overpriced stock and then have the rest of your portfolio limited. So same kind of concept, and I hope we'll see what happens. But
what the Saints should have done when they dealt Sean Payton, they should have said, you got to take Michael Thomas at his salary, 100%. Take it all.
Please. Please. That's not going to happen. I think.
Maybe he would have gone and performed and played for Sean Payton, but he's not doing it here, so he's just a big rotting waste of.
Well, you called it. You called it 4 years ago. Don't sign him. And play the tape. You'll play the tape. You had it. But all right. Yes, we're going to go to AL. Hey, AL, you on All Things Legal. What do you have for us?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Al.
Okay.
And, I wanted to make a comment to you guys. I'm very familiar with MMA, Mosley, McClenny, and Associates.
Yes.
My brother passed away in July of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with him probably since 2021, late 2021, and he was very ill. Sometime after he passed away in July of 2022, I started getting phone calls from MMA. Individuals who really didn't want to identify themselves. All they wanted him was to sign the release. I got a little bit suspicious. I'm a former retired State Farm adjuster, okay? So I'm quite familiar with everything that was going on. And come to find out, I did read from the LDI, the notice the other day, the cease and desist order, but I've been keeping up with that. Those people, I'm familiar with the people on St. Charles Avenue. They have an office here in New Orleans. I don't know if you knew that. But there's quite a few of them. They refuse to answer. I've asked them to produce an engagement letter. Nothing. I've asked them, and this was prior to getting legal counsel in Lake Charles, which is where the case is where my brother used to live. So I just want to let you know that they're not on the up and up. Something is really not right with those people. And one of the things that I did find out from State Farm, because I knew who to call at State Farm, the attorneys for State Farm, also they said they had issued a check probably 8 months ago. Never heard about it. They were holding it, or MMA was holding it, in the name of the mortgage company, my brother, and MMA. So I sent them a letter telling them, look, my brother's passed away, there's no more mortgage, so the check needs to be drawn to the estate. Never heard back. Talked to State Farm, and they said, I asked them, I said, do not issue any checks to anyone until we get this problem resolved.
Now, let me ask you a question. Was a lawsuit filed on behalf of your brother?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Waiting to see if we get a response. We've asked cordially to produce all the documents. And
because
as far as I know, this has been probably since the beginning of the year. They refused, so we're probably going to have a lawsuit.
No, but
Judge King over there in Lake Charles.
right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is, did MMA file a lawsuit on behalf of your brother? Have you checked that out?
I don't know.
You might want to check that out, because one of the complaints was that they were filing lawsuits on behalf of homeowners without their knowledge or without an engagement letter. So, they had one of the ladies who was subject to an article in Times-Picayune saying, hey, I'm in court. I had no idea that I engaged anybody to file a lawsuit on my behalf in court. I never did. So you may want to check in Lake Charles to make sure that a lawsuit had been filed. Yeah.
He hasn't seen anything on that, so I don't.
Okay, good.
Tried to settle with, State Farm, claiming to close the money. By the way, their share of the amount is over 48%.
Right. Yeah.
Reading about Judge King just tore him up. Told him, said, look, it's about 25-30% at the most.
Yeah.
We've been thinking about that. We've been warning about the out-of-state law firms. Here's what they do. They come in with a bunch of money. They get these out-of-state roofers, get these out-of-state claims people, and they find a lawyer, a Louisiana lawyer who doesn't have a big book of business, that's going to jump at the chance. And what they do is they use that lawyer and his bar number, etc., to set up shop and partner with that lawyer in Louisiana. And then, they get 504, or 318, whatever area code for their phone number to make you think they're local. They hire these public adjusters. They market the public adjusters like crazy. They go out and then, they charge you 10% of whatever they write, not what you collect, but 10% of what they write. So they overcharge you claims. And then, it's illegal to charge and negotiate a claim by a public adjuster because they're practicing law without a license.
They're not licensed, right.
Yeah. based on a percentage. So all of these things are grossly illegal. And then what they end up doing is if they can't get it settled, then they refer you to the out-of-state law firms, that have one lawyer contact here. And those law firms will charge you 35 or 40% of your property damage claim. So it's just theft. I mean, they're here with their carpet bags to come in and rob and steal and pillage Louisiana citizens who've already been devastated and knocked out of their homes, etc. It's a crime, and I hope the federal courts take this very seriously. I hope these people lose their licenses over. I mean, this is it's unconscionable to think what they're doing and how they're treating our citizens. And look, go local. We say it all the time. You can come to our office and see us and see a person and not have to worry about some claim.
Here they go on tomorrow. Yeah.
I can tell you this much. I know of you guys because I'm also a Del Sal graduate.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
What year? What year?
I graduated in 63.
63. All right. There you go. You were around.
Before you guys.
No, I know you were around Johnny Authors, man. I know that time period. That's right. Yeah. Johnny Altobello was my dad's coach at De La Salle. So,
Johnny Altobello recruited my brother. You could give scholarships back then, apparently, but he recruited my brother as a basketball player. And he said the reason was because he jumped so well. And he said, I can teach you how to play basketball. I can't teach you how to jump like that. Well, he ended up being a
football player.
Star blue chip football player, linebacker. He's in the De La Salle Hall of Fame now as a football player. Never really played basketball for him, but it worked out.
Well, actually, my dad Frank, his backyard faced Jesuit High School, but he didn't. He was going to go to Warren Easton, didn't have the money to go to Jesuit. Johnny Altobello recruited him, gave him a scholarship at De La Salle, and so he went. Yeah.
I took the Jesuit exam to go for the 8th grade to Jesuit.
Yes.
And I actually went to the 8th grade at Jesuit, and I hated it. My mom, I said, if I got to go back to Jesuit, I quit.
You quit?
Where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to De La Salle down the street. We'll be right there.
That's right. We're
just one last thing about MMA, and that is that they do have an office on St. Charles Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I know the names of the attorneys there, the lead attorney, and several of the other partners. I keep getting releases, notices for release, for me to sign a State Farm release, which I trust State Farm, obviously, but I'm not trusting anything that they're doing, so we're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But here was my main question, okay? After my brother passed in July of 22, my brother owned a vehicle, okay? It's titled in his name and his wife's name. His wife passed almost 2 years to the date before he did, so he never did change the title to his name. I know by, inheritance or whatever, her share, she died intestate, her share goes to her only son, which is not my brother's son. And I have been trying probably since last year, trying to get him to cooperate. I sent him the affidavit of heirship. I've talked to him personally. When my brother died, I said, look, here's the house, take whatever you like, it's yours. They emptied the house as much as they could, the rest of it, okay. But I can't seem to get him to cooperate in the title, okay? What do I need to do to get a title? I've been offered suggestions like send it to my friend that owns a record service, or the storage, but I think I'd rather do it, up front.
Did your brother have any children? Or did they have any children together?
Not at all. Not at all. I am the executor of the estate.
Right.
And again, I managed to get my brother to write a will, probably 6 months or so before he died.
Well,
His wife did not have a will.
Oh, okay. So, and it's,
With my original,
In terms of the vehicle, do you want to transfer the vehicle to his stepson?
no, I mean, he doesn't, he won't respond.
I would,
Looking for because
is
there's
he,
nothing there really. The estate was insolvent.
is he in the state?
Over.
Is he in the state? I mean, is he local?
Yeah, he's in Lake Charles. Yes.
Okay, and you're like, what you may want to do is rule him into court and have him,
That's what I thought.
you know,
For a 2013 Ford Fusion, which is worth about $7,500, $8,000. If I'm going to spend $3,000-$4,000 hiring somebody to chase him into court and this kind of stuff, then it becomes kind of a losing proposition.
it comes out of his portion now. What you may want to, or the other thing is do is you sell it. Just sell it, get the cash and all the extra costs from the sale.
But I can't negotiate the title.
Well, you can sell it as administrator of the estate. Yeah.
So I don't have any succession on his wife.
Well, you can do a double succession. Just open succession and take all those costs from him. In other words, if he's the only heir on that, so what you do is say, if you don't want to cooperate, you're going to get some money, but you're only going to get half of what you get to value the car because the cost of the process is going to eat into your recovery. So you're not answering against your own economic interest.
What if I do a small succession, which would be $125,000?
Yeah.
Can I do? Since I'm not related to the wife, okay? I have no relation with anything.
That's that.
Can I do a succession for her?
That's you're probably going to have to get appointed as the administrator, and it's not a big deal getting appointed as administrator. What you do is you amend the succession of your brother to add in his wife, get appointed as administrator, see if you can even get appointed as independent administrator. You may or may not, and then sell the car, and then take all the cost of the process and deduct that from your stepson's portion.
Take away.
So, all right. Thanks for give us a call at 504-837-1304 if you got any questions. We're running over. We'll be right back after this brief timeout. Thanks for the call, Al.
WWL, Late News Talk Sports Powerhouse. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Log in and listen to WWL for your chance to.
Yeah, sorry about that name mix-up. I thought typing AL would be easier.
I thought, well, no big deal. I thought his initials AL.
No, that's fine about that. We did go very, very long.
Yeah, I know. We'll go short next one.
When we come back though, we're gonna go to William from Enon, E-N-O-N. I haven't heard of it before, but it's like up above Mandeville a little bit, about like an hour or two. And you already got his info. It should be in the message.
Yeah, Ian. Okay. All right.
Of the NBA. Plays an NBA one.
He seems like super nice and like very thankful. Like he's looking for anything to help him with his situation.
In bonus bets. Just opt into this promotion.
I'm sorry. What's his name?
William. Enon.
Yeah.
With a single NBA game.
And you need to give me the topic again, or do you got that?
And player props. So go ahead.
It's about
NBA star.
He's got a business that he owns, and the neighboring business is using like their parking lot for themselves, and he's wondering what he can do legally.
Okay, I got you.
Bonus bets if you miss on one leg. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or over 22. Louisiana only. All promotions.
He's the only other person we've got on the line right now, so we can probably spend a decent amount of time with him, and then maybe if it goes, 10 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
If you've been injured in a crash and the insurance company is forcing you to play defense, it's easy to make the wrong move. Don't let them cost you a big win. Demand Dudley DeBosier, the official injury lawyers of the New Orleans Saints. It could be a game-changing decision. Supporting the Saints, fighting for Saints fans, that's the Dudley DeVoder difference. Call 504-444-4444. That's 504-444-4444. Chad Dudley, New Orleans, LA 22-13581.
Goulet Cat here with APS, Alarm Protection Services. Rest easy knowing your home and business is protected with an APS and First Alert Pro smart home system. Control your system remotely with APS's smartphone app. Arm and disarm your alarm, check the status, and receive notifications. Integrate your system with other devices like lighting and security cameras that'll flash and send a warning to unwelcome guests. Stay protected with APS and First Alert Pro. Visit securitybyAPS.com. Call 504-455-5277. How do you say Chopin? I love you. With the gift of jewelry from Oakland Heart, of course. Once again voted the city's best jeweler by the readers of Gambit magazine. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road. Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Higginson, Saturday morning at 8. Learn the answers to frequently asked financial questions and get the latest investment news, tips, and tricks to help you get the most of your money. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
The final days of Ashley Home Store's President's Day sale. Last chance to save big. Up to 50% off. Shop deals starting at $399. Or get no interest for 5 years with no down payment. That's no interest until 2028. Don't miss huge mattress savings at Ashley Home Store. Save up to $500 on best-selling Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. It's not yet ready for delivery. Text deals to 79975 to learn more. Ends Monday. Only at Ashley Home Store.
Hey, Slidell, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's. So thank you if you're back in 20, and if you're new, we hope you give us a try.
Is the feed okay? It sounds like it's choppy.
For you, you sound fine.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
All for just 3 weeks.
It's coming back.
Free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code JOY at checkout. That's harrys.com, code JOY. Enjoy.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We're on till 10 o'clock today. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to William from Eon on the North Shore. What you have for us, William?
I got a small business. It's a thrift store, and the guy I'm renting for owns 3 buildings in the little strip mall, and then somebody else owns 3 buildings. Well, I'm right next door to one of her renters, and the people who work there park in front of my store, and we only have 3 parking spaces per business. And they park in front of my store and leave theirs open for their customers. And so I asked my landlord could I put signs up and have them towed. He said yes, but I don't know if it's legal. That's what I want to know. Is it legal for me to do that?
What parish are you in?
St. Tammany Parish, Slidell.
Slidell, okay. Doug may check the St. Tammany ordinances, but I know in Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish, there are ordinances that allow towing, and you can put the ordinance number on a sign saying, it's private property, first of all, and so you can pretty much do what you want with private property. And, I don't know if you got it in writing, an email or something from the landlord. That was the first thing I was going to try to check the lease and see.
Well, actually, we want to post return.
I'm sorry, you were talking about with that?
I'm talking. He wants to put the signs up himself. He said,
then put them up and tell them and say, look, and work something out with a towing company that you call this particular company, and they'll come and be thrilled to be able to charge them that and storage and everything else that they're going to charge them for.
Okay, well,
I think the issue will start quickly.
to find out that it's at the ordinance, who would I check with? Would I check with the sheriff's office, or would I check with
Probably code enforcement, or you can go online. They probably have St. Tammany Parish ordinances online. We can take a quick look, but
Also you can.
Well, I just forget it's private property. I don't think there's going to be an issue. You can control your own property, and as the tenant, you have the right to do so.
Okay, I appreciate the information.
All right. Thanks for the call. Also, too, you can, if you have problems like that, you call your council person. I mean, that's what they're there for. They might not know the answer right away, but they can point you in the right direction, or sometimes just take information and give you a call. So either way. So all right, let's Colin, let's go to. Okay, we're going to Jack to Mandeville. All right, Joe. All right, let's go to Joe from Mandeville. Hey, Joe, what you have for us, brother?
Real quick, Nick, about this St. Paul Wolves. Who won the state championship?
Say that again?
Yeah, St. Paul won the state championship in soccer.
Yes, they did. Nephew played on that team, as a matter of fact. Christian
One of Albert's 150 nephews is on the team.
We're going to have to include them to your little high school reunion, which pretty much every school on the North Shore goes to. But you do a great job at that, by the way. But real quick, my question is about these insurance companies that are bailing out. It shouldn't have never, ever come to this. I've been a victim of this, okay? And I don't know why we keep giving Jim Donilon a free pass on this. It shouldn't have never, ever come to this. When I call and shop around for insurance for my homeowners, because nobody notified me, okay, that I would be a drop, and I ended up silly. Okay, they're telling me their excuse was whatever happened in Florida, 800 miles away. Okay, it should have never ever come to this, and I just don't get it. I mean, it should have some kind of structure to where the reserves are better protected, and that the money is going to where you pay. Okay, in the state of Louisiana. So, I mean, I need your comment on that, and then I want your comment on the Brandon Miller situation. I mean, this guy's got to be culpable. He brought the gun to the crime scene.
Pretty amazing. So I don't know if you saw anything about the game yesterday.
Yeah.
But Alabama played Arkansas, and this was his first game back, and they introduced him, and for the background, this guy was accused of shooting the girl because she wouldn't go out and quit with it. And they let him back on the team, and so he comes back out in his first game, and the Alabama fans go crazy, with the smoke and all that stuff when he gets announced. And then one of his teammates pats him down, making sure he doesn't have a gun, making a big joke out of the fact that he went and shot somebody. The program should be suspended. He should be kicked out of the league, just by virtue of the patting down and the disrespect for the law, the disrespect for the girl and her family who were victims of this criminal act. And again, it's all allegations in here at this point. But if he would have said something that was politically incorrect, he'd probably be off the team. But apparently, murder's not a big deal anymore. So
Let me ask you this, and I'm being serious about this. We can always understand there was no intent here, but he did bring the gun to the scene, right? Inadvertently, whatever you want to say. Okay, you're part of the crime scene, especially if you get your windshield blown out by 2 bullet holes. Okay, You're part of the concert. Doesn't that make you an accomplice? Not an accessory, but an accomplice. That you're part of this thing, and you have to be culpable in some kind of way, don't you think?
Again, there's a lot of facts involved, and I don't know what his history is, whether he has a felony conviction on his record by because if he's carrying a firearm with a felony conviction, that's a mandatory sentence right there. But it's just again, it's so disrespectful to the process, to the rule of law, to all of it. I can't believe that the Alabama coach and the administration, the athletic director, has not come out and, I would have sat the kid, I would have sat the other kid, cursed him and made an example of the fact that, hey, look, honey, you don't do that. And, how well is that really going to play in his criminal trial? Right? So just from his own.
I'll let you go. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Odyssey celebrates Black History Month. Black History Month. Black History Month.
Two-time Oscar Award-winning actor Denzel Washington said,
I'm very proud to be black, but black is not all I am. That's my cultural historical background, my genetic makeup, but it's not all of who I am, nor is it the basis for which I answer every question.
Black voices shaped history. For more moments like this, music, and podcasts that matter, go to Odyssey.com/Black History Month or download the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and you can bet on everything with the money line to point scores and threes that are drained. For instance, 2x3, 2 3-pointers scored in the first 3 minutes. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game promo. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets. You go to FanDuel.com/ABear. That's FanDuel.com/ABear. That's HEBERT to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Private characters only. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Restrictions non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. If you or something.
We got no callers at the moment.
Okay.
Come back with the more insurance caller.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You need to have yourself checked for asbestos exposure because that stuff was everywhere. Even if you've been diagnosed with lung cancer and you were a smoker, you need to be checked because asbestos could be what got you sick.
And again, you sound perfect on my end, so don't hesitate to talk. There's no distortion.
Okay. Sounds good.
I had a lot of exposure to asbestos will break dust. I went to asbestosclaims.law. I got checked and tested. I'm okay for now, but I need to be tested every year because sometimes the effects of asbestos exposure don't show up for decades. Now, if asbestos did get you sick, money's been set aside. It's not going to affect the place you work for or anybody who works there's job, but it will take us toward compensating you for being exposed to asbestos. A lot of firms do it. I went with just skinny and writing with asbestosclaims.law because you lost family members to asbestos exposure. Call 8334-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
Homeowners, no. If you live in Jefferson Parish, you know who to call when you've got it clogged. Pipes R Us Plumbing. And what about when your water heater breaks? Or you need a new appliance hooked up? Or you want to upgrade your kitchen or bathroom use faucets? Pipes R Us does all that too. A+ rated with the BBB and locally owned for 17 years. So, for home plumbing repairs, water heaters, faucets, and more, call Pipes R Us Plumbing and let them peek in your pipes. Online at pipesrus.com. Number 2953.
Join us at Odyssey. We all do our one thing. Together building the things for our planet. Raise a fine glass of wine for your sweethearts and get fired. First, don't get hung up on packaging. Many great ones now come in boxes, which produce half the overall emissions that bottles do. Also, cardboard is just as easily recycled as glass. Finally, look for estate wines, where all grapes are grown on the vineyard and not trucked in. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Real love, Amor Flame, calls for the gift of real diamonds. At Oakland Heart, you can make her breathless for less. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road. Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now. Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app? Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas. What? That sounds like it could really add up. I've made around $200 already. Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR57 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account to PayPal or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR57 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR57 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill up. Cashback is not available in gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin.
Secrets of the cover-up and strange phenomena. UFOs and ideas that challenge reality itself. My name is George Knapp. I dig into news stories others can't or won't. I'm Jeremy Corbell. For some reason, people tell me things they probably shouldn't. And this is what I'm talking about. Following this is the presentation of Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, Dark Horse Entertainment and KD13 Studios. Available now for free on the Odyssey app, wherever you get your shows.
All things legal with Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. I got a text here. Albert sort of on the issue regarding the Texas law firm McClenny Mosley. It says, I have McClenny as a attorney. Can I fire them since they've been shown to be dishonest? I called an appraiser that was advertised, and it was a bait and switch for McClenny to represent me. McClenny has told me that Southern Fidelity was hard to work with, and I needed an attorney. And I was referred to McClenny Mosley. First of all, I guess you could address whether you could, terminate your lawyer and get another one in connection with that particular situation.
You can always, as a client in the practice of law, you can terminate your lawyer anytime, no matter what. You have the right to terminate that lawyer. So, now, if there's a contract and there's some issues with percentages and et cetera, here's what happens in a contingency situation. So if you've got a lawyer and he's charging you 40%, and you decide, hey, look, I want to get a different lawyer because I don't like that rate, and you get somebody else to just 30%. Well, the way the law works, when two lawyers are fighting over what they should collect from your contingency fee, the law takes the highest reasonable fee and splits that between the lawyers depending on the amount of work that they did on potential costs. So, I think what you have is a little different situation. I would terminate the lawyers if that's what you're choosing to do, and tell them, look, I don't think you're entitled to any fee. You can put the in for me. You can negotiate my claim. If you didn't get me any money, I'm going to terminate you now and find another attorney that can bring my claim to a conclusion. And so, you certainly always have the right to terminate your lawyer and find another one.
I don't really know what to say about this. We got married on the line who's got a question about setting up a business in Wyoming to make the holdings invisible if you get sued.
Tell her to call next week.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly. You terminate them, and if you really feel like they've violated some provision of the, ethics code, then I think what we do is file an ethics complaint with the disciplinary council for Louisiana. And so, that's the risk the lawyers run from Louisiana for teaming up with enough people. That they're the ones that are the licensed lawyers here in the state, and they're the ones that end up taking the brunt of the misdoings of the out-of-state lawyer. So, lawyers, you should know better. So, anyway,
I had a situation. Before we go to break, and I'm not going to name names, but basically they just hired a public adjuster. Didn't know a lawsuit was filed on their behalf, and then they're at a mediation, and they said, "We're ready to settle. They're going to settle for $65,000. You'll take home $32,000, which was over 50% was going to claims adjuster attorney." And he came to us, told us what to do, and we gave him instructions on how to address that particular situation. But that's sort of, the bait and switch that has been going on with some of the public adjusters in these type claims. So just because you're unknowingly been put in it doesn't mean you have to go through the process. There's ways to unwind it and even start the process over. So it can be done. Yeah.
25% in attorney's fees and costs, right? Is over 50%.
Well, and I think we're spending a little time on this because after you have a hurricane, to be exploited again, or you have the second, the second tragedy, there's a second issue dealing with the people who are supposed to be helping you, that makes it twice as worse.
The third tragedy is typically the out-of-state contractor.
Yes.
Which you'll never see again. But that's for another day.
Yes, that's it. All right, let's go to a final break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back for our last segment after this brief time out.
WWL, home of WWL First News Weekly Edition with Dave Cohen, always live on the free Odyssey app.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury.
Sorry about that over the air. Wanted to try to get her in before.
Yeah, no problem. That's a complicated question. So, well, there's ways of doing it where.
She's very adamant. She was like, "I'm doing all of this to try to avoid a lawsuit," and I'm sitting here thinking, "Am I talking to Walter White?"
Yeah.
About the big Doug, the new Better Call Saul over here.
No.
I don't want to, rope you into something that was.
No, we can handle that. We can handle it. No, but it would take a little explanation, a lot more take a little more time than we have. So she'll call back next week if she wants to.
She was adamant that she lives in Louisiana, but that she's setting up this business.
You can do it. Yeah.
For an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill.
So we're gonna come back with this.
Yeah. How much time? Yeah. How much? You can pick one out. How much time do we have when we get back?
We'll have 3.5 to 4 minutes to pick.
Joel Myers, my friend,
Okay.
Gil Benson on Cadillac of New Orleans and Metairie, Dash Chevrolet in Kenner, Mercedes-Benz in New Orleans on Veteran Boulevard, and a new Mercedes-Benz Spreader Van Center across from the Caesar Superdome. For over 65 years, the dedicated people of Benson Automotive have quietly gone about the task of making their dealerships Louisiana's finest and continuing a proud legacy of service to the New Orleans community. At each Benson dealership, you can be assured you'll always get our very best price. whether buying a new or pre-owned vehicle. A service department staffed with seasoned.
I'm not telling you what we're playing. All I'm gonna say is that it's a Ferris wheel.
All right.
No hassle buying an experience. It's what keeps Benson customers coming back time after time. The Cadillac of New Orleans and Chevrolet, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, and the new Mercedes-Benz Thunder Bay, each drop and present the Gail Benson Automotive family of dealerships. Mr. Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323. LA 121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge. Call 475-2323.
Rejuvenate Medical, now open in Slidell. RejuvenateMedical.com.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program.
Is Albert still on?
Allows Americans to owe the IRS.
Phone-wise, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply
back in 30.
Okay.
5765. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-506-5765 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-506-5765 to see if you qualify. That's 800-506-5765.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. To the Beatles, Twist and Shout, covering for the Isley Brothers in 1963. Colin, that's pretty good, huh? You wasn't around in '63, huh? Let me ask you this: how do you know this music?
I come from radio.
Okay, you come from radio, but still, I mean, a lot of people from radio don't, aren't back to the '60s, So, how old are you, Colin? 20. Oh, you're a kid, man. You're a kid.
Station. I even had a show called for hours, and but I was,
Yeah. I was born in '62, so I knew the first thing I reacted to. My parents said I was born in '62, but the first thing I reacted to when the Beatles came on Ed Sullivan. My parents told me I was 2 years old. I'm jumping around the room like crazy, and so ever since then. But I did see at a parade. I saw a 22-year-old girl with a Beatles attire, and I said, "How do you know about the Beatles?" She said, "Well, I sat in my dad's back seat riding around for all my childhood listening to the Beatles." And I said, "Well, I did the same thing to my kids with that the Beach Boys and Jimmy Buffett and Frank Sinatra." So my kids are also are tarred with that. So anyway, there you go. Well, Colin, man, you do bang up bumper music. We thank you. We thank you for keeping us straight and helping a couple of amateurs look like less amateurish. That's the way we say that. So, all right, Albert, we got about a minute to go. Any parting thoughts today before we cut a?
It's just unfortunate that we have these carpetbaggers out there that are, trying to take advantage of the weekend residents in every capacity, whether it be contractors, whether it be public adjusters, whether it be lawyers, especially lawyers who should know better. They need to have their license smacked over their head. So, if everything that is out there said to be true, then they I don't know, it should be disbarred.
All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks in all things next week in all things legal.